Many people have no idea that when you actually retire, you can move your 401k to an IRA. Now, why the heck would you do that? Well, think about it for a second. Your 401k probably has a few options, maybe 10, maybe 15 options that you just pick from. And it's pretty simple. You want to make sure that you have a diversified portfolio. But when you retire, you can choose how you create your own income. So you might want some very specific funds that might not be offered that are in your 401k today. So you can actually move your money from a 401k to an IRA or a Roth 401k to a Roth IRA, and that gives you more control. You can also work with an advisor. Now, there are also times that we'll tell clients, I'm not so sure it makes sense to do so yet. For example, if you're still working and you want to move your 401k to an IRA and you're under 59 and a half, you don't want to do this. Even if you tried to do it, they wouldn't even let you. So don't feel like for any reason there's something you don't know. The biggest thing we want people to be aware of is when you're over 59 and a half, there's something called an in-service distribution, which means you have the option to move your money, even if you're still working in most cases, from your 401k to an IRA or Roth 401k to a Roth IRA. What we're going to talk about today is, okay, what are the real differences? If you're going to retire in the next few years, does it make sense to consider this? You might not even have to take action after today, but it might make you sleep a little better knowing, wow, I do see I had this super safe sounding 401k thing. Now it's going to an IRA. I just was kind of concerned because I've only had a 401k my whole life. So this is our new series, Root Drops, where my amazing advisors drop knowledge for you guys, these little quick fun tidbits. I'm going to read the question now, which prompted the episode today. And these come from our Root Collective. This is our free community. So Mark B here is in our Root Collective. If you want to drop your own question, you can go ahead and look in the description of this video on how to do so. And he goes, I'm considering rolling 401ks into IRAs, both traditional and Roth, plus minuses. Now he goes on to say, I'm going through an annoying exercise as my wife is both plan administrator and participant of her 401k. That's probably not the case for all of you. So there's a lot of forms out here, and part of our job is to tell people what not to worry about. But their main question is, does one need an existing IRA to roll the 401k into? Am I missing something that's compelling? Like, should I just leave all my money in a 401k? What don't I know? I am happy to bring on our amazing lead advisor, Chris Brown, who is going to help clarify this for us.
Thanks, Ari. Yeah, that question sets it up perfectly because really the first thing it comes down to is how easy it can be to move it over to IRAs if need be. And also just how much it simplifies your life in most cases. Now, most people aren't doing the administrative side like they are. But in my experience, 401k plan administrating those sites tend to be a little bit more cumbersome than, we custody with Charles Schwab. So when you open up an IRA with one of these bigger custodians, they tend to be easier to manage. From a logistics standpoint, it is typically very easy. We help people with it all the time and make sure that no balls are dropped from the standpoint of getting funds from a 401k over to either a traditional IRA for pre-tax funds or Roth IRA for Roth monies inside of those accounts. And you touched on it as well. There's a universe of options out there that are available in IRAs that are typically not available in 401ks. 401ks, I think from a certain standpoint, have to have more limited options. So just from ease standpoint and convenience, it can make a lot of sense to roll your 401k over to an IRA. The way that we work with clients as well, typically we are limited in being able to help directly manage 401ks. So if you want somebody to help you be that guide through your retirement, then it's going to make more sense to allow them to manage those IRAs for you. Now, some situations where it might make sense and some things to point out with regards to moving funds out of a 401k. One key one, especially for people we tend to work with, early retirees, people before age 59 and a half. One little nuance is something called a rule of 55, where if you retire from your employer after the age of 55, but you haven't yet reached 59 and a half, if you leave funds inside of a 401k, you can actually draw those funds out, pay regular income tax, but not have that early withdrawal penalty. So in some circumstances, went through this last week, it could make sense to leave a portion of it in that 401k to help fund those first few years of your retirement, get you to that age 59 and a half, especially if you don't have a superhero account that will help you get to that age as well. Another thing is if you are making, some people are taking advantage of backdoor Roth contributions, where if you don't have any IRA funds already, you can basically contribute to an IRA and then do a backdoor contribution into a Roth. If you were to roll a 401k over into an IRA, then you would pull in some pro rata rules where a portion of that would be taxed if you continue to do those backdoor Roth contributions. So that would be something to keep in mind as well. And then lastly, some people will point out like ERISA protections in the case of bankruptcy. If you roll it over correctly to a rollover IRA, you typically contain and keep all those protections. It's not ERISA. It's a separate organization that backs those IRAs from creditors in bankruptcy proceedings. So to your point, Ari, a lot of good reasons to keep it in a 401k, but for the majority of people, plenty of reasons to roll those over into an IRA.
Most of our clients want us to send them monthly income. So they're saying, hey, we need $8,000. And we'll say, is that before taxes, after taxes? They go, no, we need 8,000 net so we can go live our life and do everything we want to do. On top of that, they might need extra to help a kid with a down payment or travel. And so if all their money is in a 401k, we really can't help in many cases. Now, if there was a benefit to leaving a portion in a 401k, like Chris just said, we are going to be the first people to say, we're doing that. Chris just went through an example. There was a client that I once spoke to who said that they had the majority of their money in a 401k. If we had transferred all of that money out, they had no other way to create income. They had no superhero account. So it made sense for them to keep a few $100,000 in that account so they could actually live, and they were in a fine spot to retire. So love those points, Chris. If any of you guys are watching this video going, wow, this really resonated. Not only did I learn something, but Chris seems like a cool guy. I want to work with Chris. You can check out Chris doing his Spartan races, seeing Chris and his beautiful family, Mario. These are the advisors that work here at Root. So you can see Chris is in Knoxville, Tennessee, 10 plus years of experience. You can read about him. And if you resonate with him, you can go to our website in the upper right. You'll see this button right here. See if you're a fit. You can go ahead and click that and you can elect to work with Chris. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to the new series Root Drops. If you enjoyed it, please like this video. Please comment if there was something you learned. And then my final ask, we put all this content out for free, so you guys resonate with it. Tell me, if there's someone you want to retire early with, what are you most excited to do? It's really fun for us to get to read the comments and engage. So that's my only ask. Thank you, guys. See you next time.